Israel bombed that hospital, and we all know it. And if you were somehow in doubt about it, well, they bombed another one last night, and they've done it before. This isn't something that's new. You know, you've got American warships over there now, and you better be careful because they might just bomb one of your own ships just to blame it on Hamas. Because, yes, that's also something that they've done before. And if you don't know, look it up. The USS Liberty. Everyone in the world knows that the Israelis do not follow any rules of war. And we all know that the United States doesn't follow any rules of war either. Well, I don't think there's a torturer in the world who didn't learn it from you, who didn't learn it from the appropriately named School of the Americas. Look that up too if you don't know. America and its allies have a long and blood-soaked history. The United States and Europe have been like ships sailing on a sea of blood, the blood of Africa, the blood of Latin America, the blood of the Middle East, and the blood of Asia. And you even had us in the bottom of that ship rowing like galley slaves. Or you're nothing but pirates. Like I've said, nothing makes that clearer today than your behavior towards Gaza, your stance on Palestine. Well, I don't think that there's been a genocide that you didn't support, from Congo to California, from the Philippines to Palestine. You know, you didn't even fight the Nazis to stop the Holocaust. That was just your retroactive rationale. It wasn't the millions of Jews. It was 2,000 Marines at Pearl Harbor that got you into the war. At Pearl Harbor, a military base on yet another territory colonized by the United States. And in response to that, you carpet-bombed civilians in Germany. You murdered 80,000 innocent people in an instant in Hiroshima, and another 40,000 at Nagasaki in an instant, all in so-called self-defense. Or you make up the rules as you go. You always have. And then even then, the rules that you make up on the fly, you still don't even follow those. That's because you are violent. You are violent and you believe in violence. What was that Netanyahu said? We're the people of the light, bombing women and babies, hospitals, churches, dropping white phosphorus on people to burn their skin off, blowing up entire city blocks of innocent civilians. That's the people of the light. You think that your violence is sacred. You think it's holy, sanctified atrocities. The more wanton, the more savage, the more beautiful and inspiring it is to you, because you think that the more violent you are and the more you're able to get away with that violence, the more it means that you're justified, the more it means that you are superior. And the superior always have the right to do whatever they want, don't they? No matter how sadistic it is, no matter how sadistic and how evil it is, if you can get away with it, if you can get away with being sadistic and evil, then you think it's proof of your superiority. And anyone who opposes you or expects you to follow any kind of rules is committing the ultimate crime of questioning your superiority. You're the people of the light, after all. And anyone who expects you to act like a normal, decent, law-abiding human being, they must be people of the darkness. And when you say Israel has the right to defend itself, what you're really saying is they have the right to defend their supremacy, and no one has the right to challenge it. That's what you're really saying. That's what you really mean. If you wonder why Hamas did what they did, why everything that happened since October 7th should tell you why. Because the Zionists, now I won't say the Jews, and I won't even say the Israelis, but the Zionists are fanatic, psychopathic, sadistic, racist, bloodthirsty, unholy monsters. And the Armageddon cult of the right-wing Christian Zionists are just the same. And it's a disgrace upon humanity for them to not be confronted and resisted. It's Western supremacy, colonialist, imperialist supremacy that's being confronted. That's what's being confronted in Gaza. It's Western colonialist, imperialist supremacy that's committing genocide in Gaza right now. Everyone in the world is against you. Everyone in the global south. Gaza is a microcosm of centuries of anti-colonialist struggle. The entire global south, the BRICS nations, all called for a ceasefire. The whole global south is undertaking frantic diplomacy, trying to bring peace and an end to the carnage in Gaza. And who's against that? The West, as always. America tells everyone, don't escalate. Meanwhile, they're sending warships and they're sending special forces to Israel. They say, don't escalate, while they are escalating. I'm telling you, this is a showdown now. It's a showdown. Not between Hamas and the Israelis, not between Palestine and Israel, not between the Arabs and the Jews or the Muslims and the Jews. It's a showdown between savage Western supremacy and the civilized world, because you wanted to pivot to the global South. You wanted to transition the global economy, but you're sick. You're power mad. You can't stand for anyone to be genuinely free from your control. Just like, you so-called abolished slavery in America, but you still wanted to be able to put black toddlers on leashes and send them into swamps to attract alligators for you to hunt. Never mind if those babies got devoured in the process. Yes, you did that. And you're exactly the same right now today. Anyone's freedom anywhere is a threat to your supremacy everywhere. You reserve the right to be brutal and vicious as a God-given entitlement. It's a truth that you hold to be self-evident. Every generation in the West always says that they're different. They always say that they've changed, that they're not like their forefathers. But they do all the same things all over again every time. There's no change. They've never changed. Maybe you're a Westerner now, and you're horrified by the things that your society did in the past. But you're doing the same things now, and it doesn't horrify you. You can see all those old pictures of people having picnics with their families in the American South, having sandwiches under the swinging bodies of black people who they just lynched. Maybe you see those pictures, this generation, you see those pictures, and you're bewildered at how human beings could be so brutal. But right now, tonight, you're sitting in front of the television watching CNN and eating pizza, watching a genocide take place in Gaza. Well, you're no better than the generations before you. You're just the same. And your great-grandchildren are going to look back on your support for Israel just the same way that you look back on pictures of lynchings and those postcards of black babies being eaten by alligators in front of tourists. And they'll disavow you and your whole generation as evil and inhuman, just like you disavow those evil and inhuman generations before you. But just like you, they will only be disavowed